Sorry, paragraph 5. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Did you see paragraph 5?
The number 5, yes, I can't read the number, but I can see the bottom paragraph.
Yes. Are those averments correct? That the recruitment of the commercial manager was to take place in April, correct?
Yes, it is correct.
And that is the same time that you met Mr. Misati and the boys at your house, correct?
No, Mr.
I'm
Speaker.
asking, in April is the same time you met them, correct?
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
Which month did you meet them in your house?
Was in May 28th.
May 28th. Let's go to the May 28th now, because you have taken us there. Would you recall the events of May 28th?
Events of the whole day or events of
Yes,
that visit?
the events that relates to these proceedings.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, there was a visit by Mr. Misati and his sons to my home.
How many sons were in the company of Mr. Misati?
4.
4 of them. Had you previously met Mr. Misati in your house? Previously?
Not once, we had met separately.
Was it every time casual or usual for him to be accompanied by his 4 boys?
Not for Mr.
Thank you.
Speaker, they come sometimes too.
You have answered the question. So what was so unique about this meeting for the 28th of May that he'd be accompanied by his sons?
Nothing unique according to me, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Did you know that he was to be accompanied by his son at the time he was paying you a visit?
No, Mr. Speaker.
And prior to this meeting, had you met Dennis Mokaya Misati before?
No, Mr. Speaker.
And you say that you've been having a very good and healthy friendship with the family, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Speaker.
And for 32 years, you've never met Dennis, correct? You do not know him, you've never met him, you are friends with the father, and you do not know his children, correct?
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
So you therefore know Dennis, correct?
Mr. Speaker, allow me explain.
I'm asking, it's not explaining, I'm asking you to answer the question. Is it normal for a family friend who has been friends with a family for 32 years not to know the children?
I'm explaining, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Misata have heard in this house in the morning that one of his sons lived 13 years away.
It's okay.
And therefore,
I discount, Mr. Speaker.
Listen
to the question.
When
Mr.
one of them lives
Witness,
away.
you're wasting my time. Listen to the question. I want to discount the last 13 years of his life. Do not speak to the last 15 years apart from the 28th of May. Had you met Dennis before the 13 years?
No.
You have never met him, right?
I've never.
And you are good friends with the father?
Yes.
32 years?
Yes.
Has Mr. Misati's family met your children?
Yes.
Have they grown up together?
Growing up together and to what extent?
Yes.
Yeah, they know each other.
They know each other?
Yes.
It's only you, the father, a good father,
No.
a loving father who has not met Mr. Misati's
Some
children.
of our children met, some have not met, and I cannot speak that we have had that close
Mr. Witness,
with all the children.
I put it to you that you are lying, that you have never met Mr. Dennis Misati. Did you listen to the testimony by the father?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear that the father confirmed that Mr. Misati's children knows you very well?
Yes, that is said.
So whom between the two of you is lying now?
None of us. Because if the children know...
It's okay,
me,
you have
I
answered
would
the
know
question.
them.
I have not put a question to you. Honorable Senators, permit me to go to page 87 of the Deputy Governor's bundle of documents. And as I deal with that aspect, Mr. Speaker, sir, permit me to correlate that annexure with paragraph with paragraph 20 of his affidavit. Mr. Witness, it is in your evidence and testimony that you received 249,000 from one Dennis Misati, correct? I'm putting a question to you. I've not asked you to read. Did you receive 49,000 from Dennis Misati?
Yes.
Page 5 of his bundle of documents of the Deputy Governor's defense. Page 5. Yes? And it is your varmints that he had received that money from his mother, correct?
Yes.
And that the 249 were meant to pay a debt that you had advanced to his father, correct?
True.
Had you previously, before this occasion, ever advanced money to Mr. Misati before?
We are in that kind of...
Had you advanced, yes or no?
Yes, I had.
Did you, how much had you advanced before, if you may remember? Before this occasion?
I can't give one figure.
Yeah, but just give us a figure, approximately.
We have had exchanges of money, 100,000.
Yes, thank you.
Even before.
Thank you. You have answered. Now, during the repayment of that, did he pay you?
Yes.
Did you involve his children in the repayment of that loan?
Of his brother. The evidence that is here has got no relevance to the issues at hand. It's not material to the allegation being investigated by the Senate. We don't have time. We are being taken for granted, Madam Speaker. So I invite you to invoke Standing Order number 30 of the third schedule. Set a precedent that when we are sitting here as a quasi-judicial authority, we should restrict ourselves to the allegations that have been made against either the governor or the deputy governor, and then we make a determination whether there is substantiation or none. If there is none, we set the governor free. If there is substantiation, we send the governor home, so that you save time, Madam Speaker. So I invite you to invoke Standing Order number 30, rule that this particular evidence has got no relevance to the issue at hand.
Are you sure you want to refer to Standing Order number 30?
Of the third schedule.
Of the third schedule?
Yeah, you can call it Rule 30 of the third schedule, even not Standing Order. Yes, which gives you discretion. So that you allow us now time to listen to counsel. We also hear our colleagues making their own observations. Then we retreat to pass a verdict, Madam Speaker.
What is the point of order, Senator Gloria, in under half a minute? Because if we entertain so many points of orders, we will never make any progress on the same issues that you are complaining about.
Madam Speaker, it's actually, I had this point of order, the point where we had the last witness before this one. I even approached you to tell you that some of these things, the relevance towards the charges is not there. So we are actually spending time executing matters of local politics between fights of politicians and not actually addressing the 4 charges that we have, Madam Speaker. And in the interest of time, because yesterday we left chambers at midnight, Madam Speaker, I do not think that this House, and looking at how the senators are taking these matters very seriously, Madam Speaker, we would like to spend the energy that is left to actually deliberate on the accusations and the matters that have been brought before us, Madam Speaker, so that if we can be allowed time, because, Madam Speaker, to discuss whether or not a budget was implemented or not, to discuss whether or not the governor or the deputy is fighting who and who. It has nothing to do with the 4 charges that we have, Madam Speaker. So please, I urge you, if possible, and not because we do not want to hear the witness, just in the interest of time, if possible, if we can forego this witness.
Honorable Senators, let me give a direction on this matter. What's your point of order, Senator Sifuna? That's the final one, and then I'll make a...
To be very brief.
I'll give a direction.
So that we guide. And I know that as my senior, I really have a lot of respect for Senior Counsel Katwa Keegan, but he should also be honest with the House. Madam Speaker, you've been referred to certain paragraphs by Senior Counsel Kongo Mogeni. I want to refer you to paragraph 5 as to why these witnesses are being called. These witnesses are not being called to answer to any of the 4 allegations. They are being called to respond to governance issues that arose from public participation. If the counsel for the governor, deputy governor, are going to be fair to us, indeed these witnesses are not going to respond to any of the material allegations against the deputy governor. And it would be fair to the House. It's not about a question of time, because the standing orders actually allow you, Madam Speaker, to rule out evidence that is irrelevant. What we are saying is the Deputy Governor's Council should really examine and ask themselves if they have run out of witnesses to respond to the 4 allegations, so that these other stories that we want to be told by this other witness is really irrelevant. We can sit and listen to it, but in all honesty, it will not answer, because I have spent time with this bundle, Madam Speaker. I have read this affidavit. They are trying to respond to matters that came up during public participation and not the allegations that were raised against the governor, which are 4. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, if counsel for the DG can kindly get a minute to respond to what the honorable senators were addressing before you make your decision.
I will give counsel 1 minute to respond to the materiality of the evidence beforehand, and then I'll give a direction.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm honored to respond to my senator and my Secretary General, whom I hold in the highest regard. Honorable Speaker, you'll notice that the Deputy Governor has 4 hours within which to present his case. On the relevance or irrelevance of the matter, I believe, with a lot of respect to the honorable senators, that it's possible that there could be positions that have been taken. And for us, the honorable Deputy Governor could wish to have the House understand fully, because this is politics, the nexus of this impeachment motion. And that's why we respectfully, and the Deputy Governor has instructed me to request that especially the witness who's just stood is extremely important to his case. Yes, if you are to look at the charges as read to
Let him finish. Let him finish, senators.
If Honorable Deputy, Honorable Madam Speaker, you are to look at the charges, it may not be direct evidence responding to the charges, but it's good that the honorable senators understand the background, the reasons as to why the impeachment motion against the Honorable DGT
Senator Gloria, I have given a direction. Can you maintain silence as the council is addressing us?
Thank
Please.
you. Thank you for the protection, Madam Speaker. I was just indicating and telling the House that it's extremely important for the Deputy Governor that evidence relating, because as I said, Honorable Madam Speaker, that this is politics. It's extremely important that, especially the witness on the dock, there are videos that we intend to play that show exactly what has been happening in Kisii County, and that cannot be said to be relevant. And even then, my colleagues for the County Assembly will have an opportunity to cross-examine the witness on the contents of his evidence, so that on his evidence, so that there'll be no prejudice whatsoever suffered by either the County Assembly or anyone, save for time. And Honorable Madam Speaker, you will notice that we've already dropped 2 witnesses, and based on the sentiments, because we are all litigation lawyers, we are told to read the mood of the judge or the court. We have heard what the senators have said, and we will consult. But I'll beg that you allow the witness who stood to proceed with his evidence. Thank you very much.
Council, you have listened to the feel in the House, which may not be a misplaced observation, because it is in order for senators who are sitting as arbiters to listen through the evidence, sift that evidence, find its relevance towards the claims that are laid against the Deputy Governor, I would guide you in this manner. Since the evidence has not yet been adduced before this House, I would guide you that the impeachment proceedings are against the Deputy Governor, and the charges are already laid out. You have done very well to drop off 2 witnesses who maybe you were of the opinion that they may not be too material to the charges that have been laid against the Deputy Governor. I'll now guide you. You take the shortest time possible. Whatever evidence you adduce, let it relate to the charges that are before this House as against the Deputy Governor. So if you take less time, we take less minutes in cross-examination, that will be in order, but avoid bringing the question of the governor is not yet going through any impeachment proceedings here. Relate your evidence to the charges that are before the Senate. So I'll allow you to proceed with that witness, but make sure that your evidence is material and relevant to the charges before this House.
With your permission, Madam Speaker, I have been very specifically mentioned by my learned friend, Honorable Sifuna. Could you allow me to just say one thing, even if you had to designate only 1 minute to me?
We have said you proceed on, but make sure the evidence relates to the charges that are before the House.
In that case, then, Madam Speaker, because what I wanted to observe to you is that this same argument was raised as a preliminary issue before the Speaker, and he determined that the evidence can be laid. You will recall that the County Assembly councils had taken objections to the paragraphs we are referring to. And on our part, we were countering it by saying that we are responding to what came from public participation, which formed part of the charges against us. Now, if your ruling then is that it has to be only on the full counts, which was an argument we had, then we would like to know then that the Senate is going to exclude the entirety of the public participation, because that's where the entry point of the 2 witnesses we are calling.
We have Senator, Council, I have not restricted you. If you view that it's relevant to the charges before the House, I have allowed you to proceed. But now you are using your time wrongly, because you should already be giving the evidence that that witness has. I've only guided that you save this House time by ensuring the evidence is relevant.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I may seek your guidance. Should then the County Assembly note that whatever evidence is being led by Council does not square out the charge, could we raise objection?
No, do not. Let them lay their evidence. These senators are competent. They can tell what is relevant and what is not relevant.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Obare, kindly proceed to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Council. Honorable Speaker, my name is Obare Thomas, MCA for Bobasi Boitangari. I'm also a graduate of economics from the University of Nairobi. Thank you.
Confirm that the affidavit referred to, or we are referring the House to, between page 198 and 200 of the DG's bundle was sworn by yourself.
I confirm.
Confirm that you are in the County Assembly of Kisii when the motion that has been brought to this House was debated.
I confirm.
Are you a resident of Kisii County?
As in my introduction, I said I'm the MCA for Bobasi Boitangari, therefore I'm a resident of Kisii County.
Are you able to tell this House whether you participated in the deliberations of the County Assembly and whether you did challenge anything with regard to the proceedings of the House when the same was being debated?
I confirm that I challenged the propriety of the motion unsuccessfully on grounds including it being out of time. Council.
Thank you. Thank you. You are here as part of the witnesses who are giving evidence in support of the Deputy Governor. Are there any issues arising in Kisii County that you'd wish this Honorable House to get to know about?
Honorable Speaker, I confirm that I participated in the debate on the impeachment of the Deputy Governor, and I confirm that that debate is as a result of what is happening in Kisii County.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Let's go, and you've heard the mood of the House. Let me go straight to the point. There, in your affidavit at paragraph 8, you have sworn and tell the court that the budget that had been passed in the county assembly was altered. Is that the correct position?
I confirm.
Did your colleagues and yourself protest the fact that a false budget was submitted to the control of budget?
I confirm.
Are you aware whether those are the issues that the DG has been in support of, that he's been in support of those members of the county assembly that have been raising such an issue?
I confirm so, that the DG has been raising the said issues on the alteration and the mutation of the budgets passed by the assembly, and it forms part of the impeachment, the complaints.
Thank you. Confirm that the letter that the county assembly did is the one that is at page 145. Let me just be sure. I'll be relying entirely on the DG's bundle, page 143 to 145D. Just take a look at that, Mheshimiwa. Have you been able to get page
I confirm the letter, and I'm signatory to that letter.
Okay. So that is the letter that you sent to the controller of budget. Is that correct?
Yes.
Has there been any response to that letter? Are you aware whether there's any response?
There was a response to the CEC Finance, Economic Planning on the same.
Confirm, thank you. Confirm that the Honorable DG is fully in support with the contents of this letter.
I confirm.
Thank you. Did you receive any response from the controller of budget?
We received a response from the controller. No, the response was the CEC Finance.
So you are aware of correspondence from the controller of budget to the CEC Finance?
Yes, we are aware.
Okay. Is that the letter that is in from page 142A to H of the bundle, or page 145B?
Just take 145B.
145B. Take a look at 145B. Is that the letter?
I confirm that it is the letter.
Are you able to expound to the House on what is the contents of that letter that is in page 145B of the DG's bundle? 145B to D.
145B is a response from the controller of budget to the CEC Finance and Economic Planning, asking him to explain the variances that were in the budget passed and by the Assembly and the budget uploaded on the control of budget portal.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you, thank you. Just confirm to the House of what's been happening, because you did tell the House that you are a resident of Kisii. Are you aware of any radicalization, gangs coming up in Kisii County, and what could be your take? And what is the Deputy Governor's take in respect of that particular aspect as contained in paragraph 11 of your affidavit?
Thank you, Council. I want to confirm that the impeachment motion before this Assembly is as a result of what has been happening in Kisii. We've had instances where no one is supposed to question or ask any question in regards to issues of governance in Kisii County. Kisii County has one supreme leader, and then one person who differs with the supreme leader has to be taken through what the DG is being taken through. And
yeah, just proceed.
I also want to confirm to this House that this is not only happened to the DG, this has happened to almost all leaders from Kisii County. That if you disagree with the CEO of the county, then all means possible you have to be dealt with. That is why we are here today.
Thank you. Because of time, let me refer you to page 155 to 157 of that bundle, the DG's bundle. Are you able to tell the House what that is and the relevance to the motion?
I can see this a newspaper pullout, and it talks about what Kisii elders said about Governor Rat's snap to reconciliation talks.
So basically, in aspect of the violence, the chaos in Kisii County, there have been attempts to reconcile leaders. Is that what you're telling the Senate, the Honorable Senate?
I confirm that there has been attempts to mitigate the violence and the altercation that has been happening in Kisii, but then we have not been able to have those talks.
Thank you. So that the article at page 155 to 157 relates to the attempt to reconcile. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
Okay. Do you have any other videos or any videos, especially the ones that you are referring to in paragraph 11B, that you'd wish to show the House as we rest, not to take a lot of time?
Yes, the videos were submitted, and I hope that they can be played in the Senate.
Madam Speaker, I'll request that the videos that
How long are the videos?
they are 5 minutes.
Okay.
There are 5 minutes, but there are a number of them, and there's a final one which is around 50 seconds. Those are the last ones, Madam Speaker, that we'll play, and we'll rest. Okay.
Play.
Honorable Obare.
Yes.
I don't know whether I believe you've had an opportunity to see the videos.
I have had an opportunity to look at the videos.
Are you able to tell this Honorable House what the videos exactly are about on?
Did we play it?
Yes. Okay, Honorable Madam Speaker, if we can kindly have that first video placed. If we can have from 4 or 3. I don't know where if we can have the volume and start at...
Nataka niseme haya. Bwana Rais, nataka nikueleze leo. Nilipoingia ofisini...
That is a different clip, but because of time, Honorable Speaker, if you can allow me, refer the witness to paragraph 12 of his affidavit, because we could have played that one. I don't know whether it's possible to go back. What is this about 128 ECD classes built in Kisii?
Honorable Speaker, the President visited Kisii County on 16th of December 2023, and the video that has been played before this House is our governor.
It's not been played, it's going to be played.
Yes.
Yes.
Is our governor explaining that he has built 128 ECD classes. A point that we challenged.
Nataka niseme haya.
It can be played, then we proceed. Just play.
Rais, nataka nikueleze leo. Nilipoingia ofisini, nilipata classrooms za ECD ambazo zilikuwa zimejengwa ni 81 kwa miaka 10. Mwaka mmoja ambao nimekaa ofisini, Mheshimiwa Rais, nimefanya madarasa 128.
Thank you, thank you. Were you present when His Excellency the Governor?
I was present during that function, and I raised a question thereafter asking for the information on the ECD classes because I know it was a lie.
Is that information in the letter that you did in page 174 to 176 of the DG's bundle. Just take a look at page 174 to 176.
Council, you have 5 minutes.
That's the letter I did, the chief officer, on the same. President.
Okay, thank you. Can I proceed, Madam Speaker?
Proceed.
Thank you, thank you. If, and Madam Speaker, they believe the clerk, the assistant to the Senate has just shown me 10 minutes. That was a minute ago, and the chair is indicating 5 minutes. If we can just play the video clips to end clear. Thank you.
What's your point of order, Senator Sifuna? Make it short.
Madam Speaker, I heard you very clearly, your directions to counsel for the Deputy Governor. You allowed them to proceed, but gave them a caution that the material they present must be material and relevant to the issues before this House. If indeed there is material like the one they are playing there, nothing stops the witness, who is an honorable member of the County Assembly, from bringing a separate impeachment motion against Simbarati for lying in public. That is not why we are here. So, Madam Speaker, for you to continue to allow irrelevant material to be played is really wasting. It's an abuse of this process, because they are abusing the process to achieve nefarious political ends. And this is something that we cannot allow in this House.
Honorable Madam Speaker, just allow me then, because I notice, just a minute. I notice the objections that are being raised. I'll concede and possibly just ask the witness whether in all these videos...
Senator Sifuna has raised a question based on the ruling I had made a few minutes ago. Council, I want you to use your skill and competence to sift your evidence and present what is relevant to the charges, to make it easy for us to come to the end of this process. Please proceed and keep yourself relevant to the topic.
I'm well guided, Madam Speaker. I'll drop our request to play the other videos and just seek a clarification from the witness on what is contained in all these other videos in brief for purposes of the House.
Thank you. Madam Senator, what is contained in these videos are an explanation as to why we are here. That is why when Senator Sifuna was asking the relevance of these videos, I can confirm that the impeachment motion before us is a political process. It has nothing at all to do with the 4 charges presented against the DG.
Are you trying to tell the House that there are external forces that have held the House in Kisii, the County Assembly in Kisii, captive?
I confirm.
Anything as we finish ahead of time?
Even from the report from public participation, Honorable Speaker, you could clearly see that it was one direction. Therefore, it depicts the kind of assembly that we have in Kisii, an assembly that is held captive, an assembly that is under instructions.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will not want to take more time than you've been gracious enough to allow us. With that, I'm done with the witness. Thank you very much.
Cross-examination, a few minutes.
We have nothing to cross-examine on.
Thank you. Your final witness. Do you still wish to call your final witness?
Madam Speaker, I don't know whether there is any senator that wishes to seek any clarification from the witness. I'll possibly request for a minute or two with the team and the client so that we can possibly, I'll be able to answer you so that I may need to consult.
Let me reconfirm whether there are senators who would wish to clarify anything. Senator Gloria.
Madam Speaker, it's just a simple clarification. The witness has said that this is a county assembly that is under instructions, alluding that it's under instructions from the governor. I would like to ask the witness whether the deputy governor was also under instructions from the governor to receive to send 100,000 to the managing director of GASCO.
Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Governor responded to his case.
Yes, thank you. That question clearly would have been responded to by a different person. Senator Kisang. Is it?
Madam Speaker, mine is a quick one because generally, if you go through the affidavit, there is nothing that is related with basically the charges before us. But I just wanted to find out from the MCA, because the role of MCAs and ourselves is to oversight the counties. So if I don't know if the witness has any evidence, because he has said if you question the governor on governance, you will be dealt with. I don't know if he has any evidence, and I know also as an MCA, they should start the process of impeaching the governor if they have an issue with him. I don't know why he's bringing in the governor in this particular issue and he's not under
Senator
any arrest.
Kisang, let him respond.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
He's finished.
I wish to respond. But like writing that letter to COB was part of our oversight role.
In the interest of time, I will request that we move to the final. Councils need a minute to confirm.
We have, Honorable Madam Speaker, I've already consulted. We will be calling one last witness, Honorable Amos Begi Onderi, whom my senior Mr. Katwa Kigen will lead in evidence. He'll be here in a minute.
Senator Madago, you have not pressed an intervention button. That's why I am not giving you the space.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I wanted to inform Senator Kisang.
He's not on his feet anymore. How will you inform him?
Okay, allow me to ask.
We have already closed on that and moved
Council.
on. Senator Madago, you are a ranking
But
member
I think
of
it is
this
important
house.
for this House to know that when senators ask some of these things, and we have been in the field as the people responsible for devolution, to also give some of the information.
You'll get a
The
chance.
honorable member of County Assembly was the chair for Health Committee at the County Assembly of Kisii, was de-whipped for accompanying the Health Committee.
Senator Madago, you know the rules and procedure of this House. You'll have a chance with another witness to state those issues. But what you have stated is not official. And so, Council for Deputy Governor, are you ready?
Yes, I'm waiting for the sergeant at arms to usher in the witness.
How long are you going to be?
20 minutes?
Could make it shorter.
I can, yes.
Make it 10 minutes. There is still a whole long procedure before we finalize.
Okay.
And off.
Let the witness be sworn in.
I, Amos Begi Onderi, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect to the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Could you do a brief introduction of yourself, your names, and what you do for a living?
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. My name is Amos Begi Onderi, a member of the Kisii County Assembly, serving my second term.
Okay. Now, we've been asked to make your testimony as brief as possible. Honorable Senators, the affidavit is at page 201 of the Digis bundle. If you could be shown that page 201.
Yes, that's my affidavit.
Confirm that the affidavit running from page 201 to 203 is your affidavit?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
You've had an opportunity to look at it and you adopt it as it is?
Yes, the Honorable Speaker.
Now, I would like to go straight away to paragraph 3 of your affidavit. Could you confirm this is what you say at paragraph 3? I'm one of the MCAs who opposed the motion for lack of adequate evidence and fatal procedural defects.
Absolutely correct, Speaker.
Now, you recall that there were objections at the start of these proceedings and the Honorable Speaker made a ruling.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Part of the questions that had been raised for determination was whether or not the motion was out of time and whether it had particulars to the notice. You recall that?
That is correct, Honorable Speaker.
The ruling was that it is a matter of fact which would be determined after hearing the evidence.
I agree, Honorable Speaker.
Is that an issue that is relevant to these proceedings then?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, to the extent that...
yes, okay.
Yeah.
Now, just let me lead you, if you don't mind. So, when was the motion moved?
The motion was moved on 21st of February 2024.
And when was the notice issued?
The notice is issued on 13th of February 2024.
The notice having been issued on 13th of February 2024, what was the latest period under the standing orders of Kisii County Assembly that these impeachment proceedings should have been concluded?
By 23rd of February, this motion should have been disposed of.
With that then, and considering all the evidence that has been laid, when was the public participation?
Public participation was done on 26th of February 2024.
Was it within the time allowed in the public participation?
It was outside the timelines.
Standing orders?
It was outside the timelines.
By how many days?
By about
3 days.
3 days
okay.
or so.
And when was the debate on the impeachment canvassed and votes cast?
The impeachment motion proceeded for deliberation and disposal of on 29th of February 2024.
Was that within time?
It was outside timelines.
By how many days?
By about 6 days.
And you had the mover of the motion also readily admit, Honorable Siocha, your colleague, readily admit that it was out?
He did admit.
Okay. Now, is this one of the issues you raised?
I have raised that matter on the answer if you dare to look at it.
So, why would you say if we dared? If we looked at it, isn't it?
Yes, if you looked at it, yeah.
So, as it were, when you stand here, you are saying the point you are prosecuting now that it was out of time is an issue you prosecuted at the county.
It is an issue already prosecuted at the county assembly.
Okay, then the next issue is the notice issued on the 13th of February, which you are referring to. Could you confirm that that notice is the one to be found at page 5 of that bundle, page 5?
Yes, this is the notice of motion.
Now, did that notice have details and particulars as required by Standing Order number 60?
No, it only had the grounds, and if you look at it, those grounds have been referred to us as charges.
So it did not have particulars?
Did not have particulars of the allegation.
Okay. Now, Honorable Siocha said directly to the Senate that it had grounds and details, that it was over and above the notice that is at page 5. Do you recall anything like that?
The truth is, it did not have particulars of the allegation, and it did not have even the signatures supporting the notice.
So if Honorable Siocha said that it had details and particulars,
it would be a lie to the Senate.
It would be a lie, okay. Now, the other issue is whether the motion was moved as required procedurally for impeachment of county, of a governor or a deputy.
It had a lot of procedural issues.
And is it an issue you raised?
I have raised it not once, not twice.
Okay, and what is it? And it is in the Hansard, isn't it?
It's captured in the Hansard.
Okay, I've been given 10 minutes, so we will trust that the honorable senators will look at the Hansard and where you've made your contributions. Now, what is your point in saying that the motion was not properly moved?
In normal circumstances, and this Senate will agree with me, that the notice of motion should be in the same format and content. If you looked through the notice of motion, you will actually realize the manner in which the notice is even drafted is completely different from the motion itself.
So your position is that the notice that was moved on 13th is different from the filed motion. The notice of 13th is different from the motion that is dated 21st of February, which is at page 6.
Absolutely different.
Okay. Now, apart from that, do you have another contention about the propriety of the moving of this motion for impeachment?
Yes, ordinarily, we needed to have even formed a committee at which the deputy governor would have been had. That is contemplated in the standing orders, and that report supplied to the deputy governor, but all those ones were ignored.
So no committee was formed to...
No committee was formed to look into the matter of deputy governor.
And did the assembly at any time before they invited the deputy governor on 29th determine what charges he was to... Did they ever sieve or evaluate the allegations made by Honorable Siocha as captured at page 5 and 6 before inviting the Honorable...
Unfortunately, from 13th to 29th, the deputy governor only had a single audience on 29th, when was the last day of the motion.
And before that, the assembly...
There was never an audience to the deputy governor.
Neither the assembly nor the committee had evaluated those...
Yes, he only had one audience.
What of the provisions of Section 15 of County Government Act?
Section 15 of the County Government Act requires on our, outlines on our petitions I presented to the County Assembly in line with the standing orders.
And what standing orders are you referring to?
I will not be very clear, but...
Standing orders, in the answer you said standing orders number 197 and 198, isn't it?
Yes, those ones outlines on our petitions come to the County Assembly.
And it remains your position based on the answer that indeed the motion was not properly moved?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now I'd like us to move on then to a different issue, which you've covered in your affidavit. Now, your affidavit paragraph, I would like you to go to paragraph 5. Are you at paragraph 5?
Which page?
Page 201.
Yes.
In paragraph 5, you substantially responded. What could you tell the Honorable Senate what you are responding to in the rest of the body of your affidavit?
In paragraph 5, I'm responding to the report that was tabled to the County Assembly, issued to the clerk and the speaker, and copied to the deputy governor, which I accessed when the deputy governor did table his document on allegations that have been brought to the Assembly on a petition, and this is the basis and the premise under which I have sworn the affidavit.
And what was the nature of that presentation to the County Assembly?
It was through a petition.
On what kind of a forum?
A public participation. It originated from public participation. Yeah.
And that public participation set of complaints is the one at page 56 of the Deputy Governor's bundle, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember the name?
The name of yes, Benson Yaga Kamisario.
And so you have responded to those issues that came through public participation?
It is on that basis that I have sworn affidavit.
Okay. Now, starting with the public participation, did you agree as a committee on the funding of that public participation?
Unfortunately, no. The speaker did indicate that we will move to public participation, but why the call is that he did not even be able to give the details of that public participation. Who is going to conduct that public participation? Okay. It did not come out.
Because of pressure of time, just let me lead you.
Yeah.
So, was funding provided for?
What I came to realize later, yes, it was done by His Excellency the Governor.
I'm saying from the County Assembly, did you agree as a County Assembly that we are dedicating so much money from the County Assembly funds?
Unfortunately, no.
It was not agreed on. Yes. Did you define the questions that you are going to pose and invite the public participants to canvass?
No, not to my knowledge.
Did you determine who was to preside over that public participation?
No.
And have you seen the report?
I have looked through the report, but the report is not...
The first question I want to ask you, is the report signed?
No, it's not signed, it's not adopted.
Now, there's a reference to videos that came afterwards. Is that issue of videos captured in the public participation, in the body of the public participation report?
No, they are not.
The video is not mentioned?
No,
anyway.
they are not.
Do you know where the videos...
Council, your time is up.
Yes.
Ask the last question.
Could I request for 5 minutes, kindly, Madam Speaker? Kindly.
Just one question, Council.
I have about 3. Could you allow me to just 3 questions?
Proceed.
Oh, thank you very much. Paragraph 8, page 202. Yes. Is it true that in that paragraph you have addressed one of the issues that came from public participation?
Yes, that was accusing the Deputy Governor on an absorption of the budget.
And what is your testimony on behalf of the Deputy Governor on that allegation?
That allegation should not be placed to the Deputy Governor, but rather the Governor himself.
Why?
Governor being under, the County Government Act, being the CEO of the county government, we have, for a long period, we have not been able to absorb the budget as it is revealed by the control of budget reports and are outlined in there. And Deputy Governor has equally been asking on these issues.
The Deputy Governors. And how is that relevant to these proceedings?
For insistence of asking those questions, that is why a case is brought to this House.
So this impeachment is because he's been the conscience of the office of the governor?
Absolutely.
Okay. And there are lectures on the issue of budget absorption, isn't it?
Yes.
Could you confirm those are the ones at page 121 to 142?
Yes, 121 to 122. I reports from the Controller of Budget on County Government Budget Implementation Review reports.
Okay.
And if you
because
look through
time, I'll just ask you, what position has the Kisii County been ranked in terms of absorbing their budget?
In the first 9 months of 2020-2023, Kisii County is last.
Yes.
In the first half year 2023-2024, Kisii County Government is ranked number last, 47 out of 47. In the financial year 2022-2023, which is the full year report, Kisii County is ranked number last on development expenditure as a percentage of total expenditure.
Thank you. The last issue is paragraph 9. At paragraph 9, you are making a serious contention. Paragraph 9 at page 202. What are you saying there?
I'm making a contention that this motion was single-handedly sponsored by the governor himself.
And paragraph A, what are you saying at paragraph A?
I am saying in paragraph A that during the public participation, despite the fact that there was no money that was coming from the assembly, the governor himself funded the members of the county assembly, those that I funded to him, by sending 20,000 Kenya shillings to each one of them and actually telling them to delete those messages. And he proceeded to send between 40 to 50,000 to all those members of county assembly that were participating in public participation using the cell phone number for the Deputy Speaker of Kisii County Assembly.
And lastly, paragraph C.
Paragraph C, I'm also looking into issues of PR to the clergy. Governor, a day to the voting, Governor had done a meeting with the clergy and indicated this motion was going to be dropped. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and I realized it was a public relation exercise.
Thank you. And paragraph D, the last one.
Paragraph D is what was very most interesting.
That should be your last question.
Yes.
Council Katwa Kigen.
I'm
sure.
Okay with that as the last one. You'll just allow me to refer him to their next and then I'm done.
Paragraph D is where members of the county assembly were instructed, all of them that were going to support the impeachment motion, that they should be able to take their photos and forward them to the governor and to the phone of the deputy speaker.
For what purpose?
For purposes of confirming where they have been able to vote.
Confirm loyalty and
of course there's been a lot of intimidation in Kisii County.
158 to 161, isn't it? At page 158 to 161, you've given pictures that were sent to the governor.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Council Keegan. It's time for cross-examination.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. One of the honorable senators was asking whether you have been de-whipped. Have you been de-whipped?
Honorable Speaker, fortunately, yes, I've been de-whipped. I'm a member of the ODM committee, not myself alone, together with other members. I've been de-whipped from all the county assembly committees, but I'm already in court.
Council Keegan, it's time for cross-examination.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I really appreciate your accommodation. That's all the questions I had. And Madam Speaker, I want to remind my agitated friend that he had said he's not going to ask any questions to this witness. And unless
Just leave it to him, Council Keegan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Do you wish to take
Only
some time to
two
cross-examine?
questions.
Okay.
You have testified to issues of the budget, yes?
Absolutely.
Do you know the charges before this assembly?
I don't know.
Do they relate to the evidence you have given? Is there any issue of the assumption of budget?
They relate to the extent that that is what has triggered the deputy governor to be here.
Is there any question about the absorption of budget?
Of course, there is not.
Thank you.
But it's an agreement.
No further questions.
Thank you.
Re-exam, Madam Speaker.
I'll give you 1 minute.
Yes, that's
Just
okay.
one question.
Could you explain what is the relevance of the question of budget absorption to these impeachment proceedings?
For me, it is a question that the deputy governor has consistently asked, and the governor is not comfortable with those questions. And as a result, I guess, is the reason why I sit before this house. Part of the reasons.
I hand over the witness to the honorable senators. I know you are in a hurry to leave, but just wait. There are a few questions you are being asked.
Senator Beth Siango.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance. Just want to know from the honorable member of County Assembly, what has he been doing in his ward where he is to be oversighted by his electorate? 2, if the governor has not been performing, why have you not brought a motion to impeach the governor? Thank you.
Thank you. 2 questions, whether it's related to the case. As I said, it relates to the extent that the deputy governor has been asking. It's severally, and the reason as to why probably is also in this house. But secondly, he's also asking a question on what I've been able to do in my own ward. I have raised those serious matters for Kisii County in relation to governance. And by the way, for your information, at some point, the governor, for insistence of raising these issues, has declared that any other MCA raises such issues, he automatically becomes an acting MCA in those respective wards. And that's very unfortunate for this house to hear. I think I've responded to the 2 questions.
Senator Joe Nyoto.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just have 2 questions for the witness. One, from his affidavit, and I'm referring to paragraph 9, Madam Speaker, where the witness alleges that or testifies that this impeachment motion was sponsored by the governor because, of course, of the nuisance that the deputy governor has been causing him because of insisting on responsible governance. While I agree with him that it is possible for somebody to be malicious, Madam Speaker, but I'm concerned. Does the witness, has the witness read the charges leveled against the deputy governor? And if yes, is he of the view that just because a motion was sponsored by the governor or whoever, that their allegations should not be investigated by this House? Number 2, Madam Speaker, the witness has testified that MCAs received money from the governor, 20,000 Kenya shillings each, and they were instructed to delete the messages that showed that money had been received through M-Pesa. So my question is, did the witness receive 20,000 alongside other MCAs? And if he did not receive any money, how then did he establish that money had been sent to other MCAs who had already deleted the messages? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Two questions on whether if it was actually sponsored, then whether then the churches should be able to proceed or something of the sort. As I said, it is very clear, Honorable Speaker, that if it was public participation for the assembly, then there was no role of the executive sponsoring that public participation. It automatically tells you the influence and the interest they have in that very particular motion. And it is to that extent, I say, that the motion belongs to the sponsor, and I've already identified who the sponsor is. And Honorable Speaker, the second question is on whether I did receive also, I was a recipient of the 20,000 Kenya shillings. I want to say I did not, but county assembly do not exist in isolation. Those who receive communicate to us and demonstrate when they have received. And just like anything will happen in this Senate, and the honorable members of this Senate share amongst themselves.
Senator Okongo Mugeni, and the final one will be Senator Wakili Sigei, and then we close down on this session.
Yes, I just wanted to ask the Honorable MCA, what is at page 158? That is the ballots that were used during the impeachment. Who are the officers who preside over the voting during impeachment at the county assembly, and who takes custody of the ballots that are used in the impeachment? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Okongo Mogeni. One, you're asking who are the officers who take charge on the voting. Of course, the officers are the clerk of the county assembly together with the officers of the county assembly. But I will tell you without blinking, Senator Mogeni, that the Kisii County Assembly is in captive, and the instructions are taken as clear as they are provided. And secondly, you're also asking who is the custodian of the ballot papers. Honorable Senator, the ballot papers should be kept within the assembly. But I will tell you, as a matter of fact, I had one of the honorable members yesterday did indicate that they were taking these photos for purposes of future memory. But Honorable Senator, I will challenge your mind. Why future memory? Are they also reminding themselves of the identity cards?
Senator Okongo, very briefly, can you give Senator Okongo the mic?
Yeah, you have answered my question. I simply wanted you to tell me the officers that
the clerk of the assembly and the
preside over the exercise, the clerk.
Yes.
And they are the ones who keep custody of the ballots.
Absolutely.
So the ballots could end in any wrong hands. That's all. So you have clarified. It has got nothing to do with the governor.
Senator Wakili, the final interaction.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question, actually, my desire was the question was with regards to the prior witness, but noting that the letter I desired to get clarification was signed by the witness who is on the stand right now. I believe you would.
Yes.
This is with regards to the letter appearing at page 143 of the bundle, the letter which you signed to the Comptroller of Budget on alteration of the Kisii County supplementary budget estimates 2023-2024 by the Kisii County Executive. Now, my question is very specific. I unfortunately do not have the benefit of having been involved earlier on in the proceedings, so I do not know. I need your clarification whether there was a direct response to this letter by the CEC Finance, and if so, what was the response? And two, the relationship between what was raised in the letter and the proceedings which are currently before this particular House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, there has been a response to the CEC Finance, and I guess the CEC Finance has also been able, Honorable Speaker, to respond to the control of budget, but I have not gotten a window of what that response is. When I get it, I will be able to look into it. Then secondly, you're also asking on the relevance of this letter to the proceedings of this House. And I have said this letter is also a demonstration of some of the issues we have been raising at the County Assembly. Together, also the DG has been raising those issues. And is this part of the reason why I know the DG is here. And as already indicated, so many members get disciplined when they are able to question the authority in Kisii.
Senator Sifuna, we have closed. Make it very short.
Did I hear the witness saying that there was no response from the control of budget? Is that what you're saying?
I said it has been a response, but I have not looked through the response.
You haven't looked through the response?
The one that has been
From
sent
the control
to
of
the
budget?
control of budget, I have not had a look at it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
So that brings us to the end of the Deputy Governor's case, the defense to the impeachment proceedings. So we are proceeding on to the closing remarks, and I need the councils to indicate the maximum time you can take in the closing remarks is 1 hour. The standing orders provide for a maximum of 1 hour. I would hope that both of you can confer and give us the timing you need for the closing remarks, beginning with the County Assembly Council. Council for the County Assembly.
Madam Speaker, may you kindly refresh my memory? I lost on the question that you are seeking.
It's about the closing remarks. The standing orders provide for up to a maximum of 1 hour. Closing remarks, both on your side and the side of the DG. So I was asking whether you two could confer with Council Katwa Kigen, because the maximum amount of time is 1 hour, whether you could take less time to do your closing remarks.
I will try to take less than 1 hour, but I will not exceed 1 hour, Madam Speaker, kindly. And I'm ready.
Council Jiro?
Madam Speaker, did I gather you to hear that I and Mr. Kigen, we have 1 hour to share, or each has 1 hour?
Each 1 hour.
We'll actually take less than that, perhaps even about 30 minutes or 40.
Thank you very much. That's considerate of you. Council Kigen, how much time do you take?
I indicated, Madam Speaker, that I will make an effort of falling short of 1 hour, but I will definitely not exceed 1 hour.
So we can then, I believe you are ready to proceed. Council for the County Assembly.
Madam Speaker, we were seeking indulgence for about 10 minutes so that we can collate our evidence. And then we can perhaps reconvene if you're so pleased.
Okay, 10 minutes it is. Come back ready. We hope you save the 10 minutes in your remarks. So we will suspend the sitting for 15 minutes, and then we come back in exactly 15 minutes to have the closing remarks. Thank you. Honorable Senators, it's now time to adjourn the House for 15 minutes, to suspend for 15 minutes, and we will revert after 15 minutes from now. Thank you.
Of the governor's home as an office. Yes, is this a fact you have personal knowledge of, that the governor actually uses his house as an office?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I've personally received an invite to go and have an official meeting and discussion within the palatial home.
Okay. Is this a known fact in Kisii County, that this is his office?
Yes, it is a known fact. In fact, we have had access to videos going around in the social media confirming that the governor is comfortable with discussions on government matters being held from his residence.
Okay, in the interest of time, we move on to this issue of ghost workers. Yes, you indicated there were media reports about 13, 14 ghost workers.
Yes, we did receive, first of all, one of the few things that were done the moment we got the new government, procedurally or in way of caution, instruction was given to a body that was then supposed to evaluate into HR issues and many other reports, including pending bills. And this information was communicated to us in one of the forums in the stadium when the executive said that there are issues within the county that will be resolved by a few of the instructions that he has issued.
Yes, was this report or from this investigation, was there a report that was produced?
At one point, I saw on social media information that there is a report, but as a member of County Assembly, I haven't had access to the report, neither do I know where the report is. And we as an assembly have not discussed the report at all.
So it has never been tabled before the County Assembly?
Madam Speaker, no, it has not been tabled.
Okay, which ties into our next issue, which is this Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board case that appears at pages 192 to 187 of the DG's bundle. Did this case arise out of this alleged hunt for ghost hunters, for ghost workers?
Madam Speaker, what I'm aware of is that in the social media there was an official document from the county secretary that was going around, and it was indicating that about 700 workers had been given show cause letters. Quite a number of them were coming from were members of the KMPDU organization. And therefore, because they had received the show cause letters, KMPDU as an organization therefore went ahead to find a way that they can support and have their members listen to.
Yes, did this case therefore cause the county to utilize funds to defend?
Thank you. Who was to assist him? Who was to assist Mr. Misati's son, I beg your pardon, to get a job?
Myself.
Thank you. Did you assist him in any way?
No.
Let's look at the evidence again. Look at the same paragraph and read the subsequent paragraph where you are answering to Mr. Kato Kigen's case. Are you seeing where Mr. Kato Kigen is asking you? And did you talk to Lucy about the request about your friend? Can you see that paragraph?
Yes, I see.
Read the subsequent one.
That is quoting myself. Like any other leader, Mr. Speaker, this request came to me. Everyone, honorable members, know that Lucy in Wasco would work under, like many child who work under the governor's office, where I'm also the deputy to the governor. And so I indicated to Lucy, asking her if they had such kind of jobs, and she said yes.
So to that extent, you made contacts with Lucy confirming whether the job was available, correct?
That I did.
Thank you. Did you have a look at Lucy's affidavit appearing at page 263 of the bundle of document volume 1 by the County Assembly? Did you not? Page 263. 263. Did you have a look at that affidavit, Mr. Witness? Page 263 of the bundle of document, volume 1.
Yes.
You confirm that you made contacts with Lucy, correct?
That I've said, yes.
And therefore the averments contained in the affidavit that you had a discussion about it are correct, yes?
No.
To that extent, they are correct that you made contacts with her in that respect, correct?
To that extent, yes.
Thank you. When did you loan the 500,000 shillings to Mr. Misati?
In October.
Do you have the evidence of the loan that you advanced, or you only have the evidence of repayment?
No, I don't have.
What do you have?
For what?
What do you have? The evidence of loaning or the evidence of repayment?
I have evidence of repayment, Mr. Speaker.
And there is a glaring lack of evidence of you advancing money to him, correct?
That's correct.
And you had Mr. Misati claiming that in terms of your financial status, you are doing badly, correct? It was his evidence.
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
Did you hear him state?
I heard him say that.
So do you trust his evidence anymore? To that extent.
In this particular instance, I do not hold to it, Mr. Speaker, that particular statement.
So are you disowning your witness?
No, I'm not.
So what do you want the Senate to treat that piece of evidence to the extent that you are a pauper?
You want a yes or a no answer?
How do you want the Senate to treat that piece of evidence? And whom between you and your witness is lying?
None of us is lying, Mr. Speaker.
Yes?
Mr. Speaker, there is a general statement.
Mr. Witness, excuse me, Mr. Witness, I want you to take a deep breath and collect yourself and answer the question. Who between the two of you is lying? Your witness or yourself?
Mr. Speaker, once again, I'm trying to answer the...
Go ahead. What is your answer?
Blocking me.
What is your answer?
My friend, Mr. Misati, while standing here as a witness, talked about problems of politicians, and he said most of them have challenges in terms of money. And at that point, he indicated that I may be one of them.
So I'm asking, who between the two of you is lying? You have not answered the question.
Lying in what?
Mr. Misati alleges you're not doing well financially. You allege you are very well financially.
I've not said I'm doing very well financially.
Thank you.
Saying,
let us go to
any other politicians.
It's okay. You have answered my question.
As the others.
You have answered my question. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to refer the witness to the bundle of document by the Deputy Governor as filed at page 111. It appears a bank statement from Leah Nyachera Onsare. Do you know that individual?
Yes, I do.
Who is she?
She is my daughter.
Can you see entry dated 18th of August 2023?
Yes, I do.
What in respect to these proceedings is that entry, or does that entry relate to?
It relates to a transaction between Mr. Misati and Leah Onsare.
Your daughter, correct?
Yes.
And you had Mr. Misati indicate to this as distinguished assembly that you're the one who requested him to send your daughter the 200,000 shillings, correct?
Yes, I did.
You still claim to be doing well financially?
I'm saying yes, I did.
You still claim to be doing well financially?
Yes.
Council, your time is up. The 15 minutes are up.
Well, I'm well guided, Mr. Chairman, but we have had a lot of interruption, Mr. Speaker, sir.
We stopped your time during the interruptions.
At least, Mr. Speaker, sir, because he's a very crucial witness and he carries the crux of the matter. We would better also sacrifice our other 15 minutes and deal with the witness. If it's because
Can you give the council an opportunity to speak, please?
Because when you are dealing with our key witness, who was the Dennis, the defense was given sufficient time to deal with that witness. At least 1 hour they were granted. Even if you not get more than 1 hour, at least we just get 1 hour for dealing with the key witness, because this is a key witness, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Council, I may not be able to give you 1 hour. So can you request for something reasonable? How many minutes should I give you?
30 minutes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'll try to do within the 30 minutes.
Now, we cannot take too many points of orders. Huh? I have Senator Mugeni first on the list. And on this side, I have Senator Cherargei. Those are the only 2 points of orders I'll take so that we can move on. Senator Mugeni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, because this is a quasi-judicial proceeding and we want to be seen to be fair to both parties, and since this is the star witness, is the one who is actually trying to defend himself, and we need to get an opportunity to interrogate all the issues and to also to give counsel enough time, I'll plead, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we allow him 45 minutes so that we don't, if somebody is reviewing our record, we don't seem to have been favoring one side to the disadvantage of the other side, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, you had made a ruling earlier on that the counsel for the county assembly had requested to waive their cross-examination time. And I think you made a ruling that, and we agree, they have a right to waive. So if it is still their position that they can still waive cross-examining the rest, I think they had said 2 witnesses, so that that time can be added to the star witness of the defense, then I don't think there is no problem, because you had made a ruling that they can do that. Then they can still make that application and continue to receive the time that was meant for cross-examination to cross-examine the star witness, Mr. Speaker, because we really want to know what happened, Mr. Speaker. And I think that ruling you had made in the morning. I thank you.
Okay, I will allow 2 more points of orders, and this time I'll take ladies. Senator Crystal Asige.
Senator Crystal Asige.
My apologies, Senator Crystal.
Apology accepted. Thank you very much, Speaker. I had wanted to say exactly what Senator Cherargei said, that there was a ruling in the morning and we had all agreed amongst us that we would allow for the counsel to reserve his time, remove it from 2 witnesses, that he said he would then instead use that time on this star witness, Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. On this side, Senator Gloria.
Speaker, I am of the opinion that as much as I understand that the ruling was made earlier, Speaker, but 2 points have been raised prior on issues of technicalities, even from the County Assembly, Speaker. And when we deliberate in Senate and we give our final decision, Mr. Speaker, it's imperative that we ensure that we are not giving someone the basis to go to court and say that the procedures were not followed well, or that people, for instance, the County Assembly side were under duress to waive away their 15 minutes, Mr. Speaker. We were here yesterday till midnight, and I believe 15 minutes will be the difference between someone going to court to say that we did not follow the procedure. Mr. Speaker, just allow for them to prosecute the amount of time that they require, and I believe they're only asking for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you, Senator. Counsel?
Yes,
having
Mr. Speaker,
been
sir.
reminded that you had waived your time to cross-examine 2 other witnesses previously, I'm being informed you do have a balance of 15 minutes. You had already utilized your other 15 minutes. So I will give you a further 15 minutes to see if you can conclude your questioning.
We are most humbled, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Witness, where did you meet Madam Lucy Wahito from? Did you call her to your office? Did you use your phone? How did you meet her? How did you speak to her?
Mr. Speaker, I met Lucy Wahito at the stadium where we hold our offices.
So it was correct when she informed the Senate that she met you or you summoned her to your office, correct?
No, it was not a summon, Mr. Speaker.
You called her to your office?
It was a casual meeting out there. The governor had a different function, and I met her in that function.
You met her in the function. Did you look at the pleadings of Lucy Wahito appearing at page 263, her affidavit in the bundle of document, volume 1? Did you see that averments, paragraph 13?
Which one?
Did you see paragraph 13?
We are trying to look at it.
Of the affidavit.
Which page is that?
Page 263.
Paragraph?
13. Sorry, paragraph 5. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Did you see paragraph 5?
The number 5, yes. I can't read the number, but I can see the bottom paragraph.
Yes. Are those averments correct? That the recruitment of the commercial manager was to take place in April, correct?
Yes, it is correct.
And that is the same time that you met Mr. Misati and the boys at your house, correct?
No, Mr. Speaker.
I'm asking, in April is the same time you met them, correct?
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
Which month did you meet them in your house?
Was in May 28th.
May 28th. Let's go to the May 28th now, because you have taken us there. Would you recall the events of May 28th?
Events of the whole day or events of that visit?
The events that relates to these proceedings.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, there was a visit by Mr. Misati and his sons to my home.
How many sons were in the company of Mr. Misati?
4.
4 of them. Had you previously met Mr. Misati in your house? Previously?
Not once. We had met separately.
Was it every time casual or usual for him to be accompanied by his 4 boys?
Not for me,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker. They come sometimes too.
You have answered the question. So what was so unique about this meeting for the 28th of May that he'd be accompanied by his sons?
Nothing unique according to me, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Did you know that he was to be accompanied by his son at the time he was paying you a visit?
No, Mr. Speaker.
And prior to this meeting, had you met Dennis Mokaya Misati before?
No, Mr. Speaker.
And you say that you've been having a very good and healthy friendship with the family, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Speaker.
And for 32 years, you have never met Dennis, correct? You do not know him, you have never met him, you are friends with the father, and you do not know his children, correct?
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
So you therefore know Dennis, correct?
Mr. Speaker, allow me explain.
I'm asking, it's not explaining, I'm asking you to answer the question. Is it normal for a family friend who has been friends with a family for 32 years not to know the children?
I'm explaining, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Misata heard in this house in the morning that one of his sons lived 13 years away.
It's okay.
And therefore,
I discount, Mr. Speaker. Listen to the question.
When
Mr. Witness, you're wasting my time. Listen to the question. I want to discount the last 13 years of his life. Do not speak to the last 15 years apart from the 28th of May. Had you met Dennis before the 13 years?
No.
You have never met him, right?
I've never.
And you are good friends with the father?
Yes.
32 years?
Yes.
Has Mr. Misati's family met your children?
Yes.
Have they grown up together?
Growing up together and to what extent?
Yes.
Yeah, they know each other.
They know each other?
Yes.
It's only you, the father, A good father, a loving father who has not met Mr. Misati's
Some
children.
of our children met, some have not met, and I cannot speak that we have had that close
Mr. Witness,
with all the children.
I put it to you that you are lying, that you have never met Mr. Dennis Misati. Did you listen to the testimony by the father?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear that the father confirmed that Mr. Misati's children knows you very well?
Yes, that is said.
So whom between the two of you is lying now?
None of us. Because if the children know...
It's okay,
me,
you have
I
answered the
know
question.
them.
I have not put a question to you. Honorable Senators, permit me to go to page 87 of the Deputy Governor's bundle of documents. And as I deal with that aspect, Mr. Speaker, sir, permit me to correlate that annexure with paragraph with paragraph 20 of his affidavit.